Let's look at India now. We know that India is one of those countries that may be affected by that secondary tariff because they do patronize or purchase a lot of Russian oil. So if that will affect them. But India's benchmark index has inched lower today, dragged by information technology stocks as caution prevailed following U.S. President Donald Trump's comment about that broader reciprocal tariff. The Nifty, we see, opens lower at 0.25. BSE also opens lower, 0.4. But let's look widely at this, the India economy, and some of the strategies or some of the impact that they're facing with what's going on that begins tomorrow. For instance, the secondary tariff that's supposed to kick off tomorrow. Dr. Lipika Sharma joins us from New Delhi. Dr. Lipika is Advocate Supreme Court of India. She's also a senior consultant on United Nations Women and the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Vidaki Yam Foundation. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Sharma, and welcome to the program.
Namaskar, and thanks very much for having me.
Great. So we see.
Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Dr. Sharma. So we see, for instance, I think the newest one is the secondary tariff, talking about the tariff trade war that's going on. We know that India does depend a whole lot on Russian oil and they stand the risk of being imposed with secondary tariff. But other than that, or in the midst of all that, how much impact has all this trade tariff and trade war, how has it affected the Indian economy?
Thanks for that question, very dynamic one and very crucial when we talk about not only Indian economy but global economy as a whole. So I'll start by saying this is US Reciprocal Trade Tariff 2025 has introduced new duties on imports. And the impact has been really challenging for India, affecting its exports, manufacturing, investment and trade balances. And I say so that it has impacted hugely because as US is India's largest trading partner and India-US trade hit USD 119.71 billion in 2023-24, which is humongous. And out of this, I'll say 77.51 billion was in export, 42.19 billion was in imports, resulting into trade surplus of USD 35.31 billion. So as an internal analysis, I'll say New Delhi estimated that it would be affected approximately 87% of total exports to the US, which is worth 66 billion USD. So now India is on a tightrope walk. Yes, but how? Let's understand how India is going to deal with it and how much will be able to balance it. So it is open to reducing tariff on 55% of US good it imports, 123 billion, as a part of trade negotiations which are already going on in the first phase of trade deal, 5 to 30%. So India is ready to substantially lower tariffs or even scrap some entirely. That's what the initial feelers are when we talk about negotiations. That is aiming to mitigate the impact of reciprocal tariffs. And this is, mind you, is going to be a biggest cut in years aimed at fending off reciprocal tariff. And as before joining your show, I was trying to gather information because it's going to be implemented on 2nd of April. So I was trying to gather the feelers, what is happening today. So as per today's reports, India has reportedly offered tariff cuts on range of US imports, particularly agriculture products, which was a major issue with US. And these includes items such as almonds, Cadbury's, and a long list of products critical to ongoing trade discussions. It will have a crucial impact when we are negotiating. India has already slashed tariff on bourbon whiskey, reducing them from 150% to 100%, benefiting big US brands. And I'll additionally put it like India's February budget has reduced custom duty on luxury cars, solar cells, machinery, which lowered its peak import to 70% to 150. Average tariffs also dropped below, I'll say, 11 to 13%. So both countries are actively working to find common ground as both are old global partners in trade, with India preparing to drop tariffs and increase energy purchases for a potential resolution is being laid as both sides continue to navigate this complex trade relation. I'll say offer of tariff cuts hints on relief from obviously Trump government as well. So New Delhi estimates increase of 6 to 10% of tariff on items such as pearls, minerals, fumes, machinery, boilers, electric equipments, which make up half of its export to the US.
But
Half of our export.
Dr. Sharma, does it sound like India will also have to reroute its trade, for instance, seek new trade partners amidst all of this? Yes, the talks are on with the US.
Thanks for that wonderful question. I was coming to that these are the impacts, but how India is going to deal with it. So first, India is going to counterbalance the impact of US tariff is, first thing is strengthening the trade ties with Europe, Asian countries and Middle East, which India is already doing it, but India need to escalate it. For example, Indian export to European Union already grew in the first quarter of 2025 by 8.5%. And India is in negotiations to finalize free trade agreements with various other nations I have already mentioned in those jurisdictions. Despite this reciprocal trade tariff issue with US, I would like to put it on record that there is still an increase of foreign direct investment from the side of US in India. For example, Apple increased iPhone production in India by 20%, coming to two of the leading states in India, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Along with that, Tesla and semiconductor companies like Micron are investing and ramping up Indian operations to bypass US-China trade conflicts. So India is quite balanced, and with US as well, I would like to say it very clearly, though the initially how we see from a perspective of global trade, it seems very, I'll say, shaky scenario, but I must quote 2-3 days back only, President Trump very clearly stated that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a very smart man and a great friend of mine, and our talks work out very well between India and US. And I'm sure all of us are hanging on that, and it's going to work out, balancing from both sides. India bringing things down and balancing the trade, US and India trade.
All right, Dr. Sharma, we hope, as you have said, he's a great friend of India, and that being a very smart man, he will count the costs. And, yes, we would have a friendly conclusion or compromise to all of this. Thank you so much. That's the much we can take. Dr. Lipika Sharma, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, and also the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Vidaki Yam Foundation.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.